Welcome, family, friends, and faculty to the commencement of the Columbus Academy class of 2021. I want to say, as sincerely as I possibly can, I'm so glad you showed up because, showing up has been one of the most important pieces of what made school work this year. Our faculty and staff, under some of the most extraordinary circumstances, at least in my lifetime, showed up, coming to school despite their concerns and exhaustion to devote their time and energy to their students. Your family showed up, supporting you through the ups and downs of virtual school, hybrid school, sort of regular school. It is spectacular to see everyone filling this place and experience this wonderful morning of celebration for our seniors, young men and women who have adjusted and endured so many changes over their senior year. Look at you now, drink it in. All of you will not be together again at school as you go off to start your own lives. Leave knowing that you have developed more resilience and internal strength than you ever may have thought possible. And return soon to tell us how you are doing, particularly on the inside, telling us about more resilience that you are going to show throughout your life. Godspeed, class of 2021. I'd like to welcome Luke Nestor to the stage.
Good morning, Ms. Soderberg, Ms. Izokaitis, Mr. Cass, guests, family, and class of 2021. Welcome all, and thank you for being here. While today celebrates the end of a milestone, I would like to start the speech at the beginning, my first day of kindergarten here at Columbus Academy. As my mom dropped me off at the bus stop, she began to cry. I'd never seen her cry before, so I knew this was something very serious. My mind began to wander. Will I ever see her again? Is this place so scary that I should be crying right now? I gave her a hug and waddled off to the bus, mentally preparing for what absolute horrors were about to come. Fast forward 8 hours, and I arrived back at the bus stop after a long first day of kindergarten. I stepped off the bus and saw my mom running towards me with arms stretched wide. I was so happy and proud of myself. That was until we went home and I saw another polo shirt and khaki pants lying on my dresser. I asked her why I needed to be in the uniform again tomorrow. In my mind, I had completed school. I did it. I never had to go back, or so I thought. My heart sank as she explained to me that I had to go back again and again until I graduated. And using my kindergarten math skills, I estimated that I had at least 5 more days of school left, which was way too many. It wasn't that I didn't like the first day of school. I met some friends, some teachers, and learned some new games. I was more concerned about how my mom was going to survive crying every morning at the bus stop. Little did I know that my parents had turned me over to a great community that I was going to be a part of for the next 13 years. Outside of school, from kindergarten to 8th grade, I participated in club swimming as an activity to meet other kids in the local community. So yeah, you could say I was a swimmer. All the kids wanted to know why my parents would spend money and drive farther to a school when there's a free one right across the street. They asked me questions about the uniform, the curriculum, and of course the food, but my answers never satisfied them. They rolled their eyes, leaving the conversation with the impression that my family was silly for enrolling me at Academy. My young self couldn't articulate a specific physical aspect or reason as to why this place was good for me. This frustrated me. But after spending more time with these kids and hearing them talk about their school, I was finally able to point out one of the many aspects that made CA worth it, our community. When I told my friends about my discovery, they asked more questions. What does that even mean? How can you measure how good a community is? For the next few minutes, I listed off some of our great traditions and how supported and loved I felt every day here at school. From seeing smiling faces every morning to watching the seniors tear up during final bell, it's easy to feel supported by everyone. Here at Columbus Academy, we all share the same goal. It's engraved in the building, in quest of the best. Everyone on this campus tries to live by those words every day. How can I improve my research paper? How can I do better on the sports field? We trust our teachers and coaches to give us thoughtful and insightful guidance, and they do. In turn, they do the same for us. They ask themselves, how can we improve our classes and our teams? The most important question our teachers and staff ask us is, are you okay? Because we take care of each other in this community. You see, In Quest of the Best goes far beyond our academic and athletic endeavors. Our school asks us to determine how can we be better people. Think about the words under In Quest of the Best: moral courage, respect, responsibility, honesty, compassion, fairness, and integrity. We are close because as students, faculty, and staff, we constantly strive to work on and build these traits. As students, we cannot ask for a better relationship. It works. Look how much we have all not just grown, but achieved. Our resumes are long, our scores are great, our trophy case is full, and some of us aren't even 18 yet. The symbiotic relationship between us and the faculty makes this all possible. We seniors are a large part of that. Our time to lead by example finally came at the worst time, yet we rose to the occasion and made the best of our situation. And while we will always be a part of this community as alumni, we all will be joining a new school next year, a new community. Seniors, we're going to achieve many goals in the years to come, and we owe it to our parents in this community to keep in quest of the best in all that we do. Jump into new opportunities with moral courage and lead with integrity. Keep compassion, fairness, and respect in the heart of every new relationship you develop. Be responsible and honest in your actions and decisions. Seniors, I know you will give to the world what this community taught us to be. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Vaughn Armour. Voted on by his peers with the approval of faculty, Vaughn is the recipient of this year's Cory Cup, an award established by the class of 1951 in honor of their classmate, Andrew W. Cory Jr., and given annually to the senior chosen to be the speaker for the graduating class. Vaughn joined Columbus Academy in 5th grade and has made a lasting impression in his time here. Ever ready to participate in the life of school, Vaughn has been his grade's class president for 3 years and was this year's student body president. He's played basketball, football, and ran track. He's been a member of Academy Life and co-editor this year, president of the FAM, and member of BOSS, Journey 511, and the Photography Club. One of his favorite CA memories is being a part of the massive cheering sections when the field hockey state champions played during school at Upper Arlington. We are delighted to have him speak on behalf of the class. Please welcome Vaughn to the stage.
Good morning, and thank you to our highly revered guest speaker, Mrs. Keeran, to our board president, Mr. Cass, Mrs. Izokaitis, Mrs. Soderberg, our families, faculty and staff, and the class of 2021. I remember how insane that year sounded when I came to this school in 5th grade. I couldn't conceive of actually getting here, and definitely not being a senior, let alone graduating. There was so much that we had to accomplish before this point, and it all seemed so far off in the future. The journey to get here was long, and for me, it started in a tough place, the treacherous slog of awkwardness known as middle school. Our voices were high, we were far too energetic, and way, way too cringy. Before taking on academy traditions like exams and the junior speech, we just survived the scariest of them all, F&A. As expected, out of this world cringe ensued. But every cloud has a silver lining. Quickly, we came to a collective realization. Javi's dance moves were absolutely sensational. They became a staple of every subsequent school dance and some assemblies, rivaled only by Manny's juju and the beat routine. My favorite part of Manny doing that is how he always pretends he doesn't want to beforehand. He's already getting ready to dance, complaining like, "Come on guys, don't make me do this." Looking back, middle school was an interesting time. Conversations quickly devolved into shouting matches, and every recess football game was treated like the Super Bowl, but I wouldn't trade those memories for anything. We were young and justifiably immature, so this was our time to have fun, but also a time to figure out what mattered to us as our thoughts started to become more complex. By the end of 8th grade, we looked a bit more like the people sitting here today, but our journey was far from over. The last time we had a ceremony like this, it was in the 8th grade. We were about to enter the high school portion of our journey, and we faced it with mixed emotions. We were excited about all that high school had to offer, and that was a ton. We gained a lot of new faces. There's students sitting here today, incredible and integral members of our class. We had school dances, service opportunities, and even paninis to look forward to. We would also have opportunities to take roles in high school sports, visual and performing arts, clubs, as well as service board and student council, all to further strive towards becoming the people we wanted to be. On the other hand, the path ahead was intimidating. The seniors towered over us, and I couldn't picture being in their shoes someday. At the same time, all those far-off things we'd to accomplish suddenly felt a lot closer. We watched people we knew give junior speeches, and it was becoming easier to picture ourselves on that stage. In a couple years, we would take AP exams and start looking at colleges. At some point, we would become varsity athletes, top scholars, celebrated artists. Academy would be ours to lead. And later, we'd be the class getting senior buddies. We'd have our senior prom. We'd be sitting in these chairs. Now that we were in high school, it was time to make an impact and fully form into the people we wanted to be. All this went through my head freshman year, and it scared me. It made me worried that I wouldn't live up to what I wanted to accomplish in high school, that I wouldn't become the person I wanted to be. But every cloud has a silver lining. Since then, I'd like to think we've changed, at least a little bit. Our voices are lower, our accomplishments are greater, and our cringe levels have decreased, although Graham's jokes are in danger of changing my mind that last one. What's certain is that our grade has left an undeniably positive mark on this school. We've won state championships, writing awards, music and art awards. We've started and led clubs, wowed in performances, and endured way too many people saying the student section theme was just showing up. We became those varsity athletes, those top scholars, those celebrated artists, and we led this school with compassion and strength. We never wavered. Even in the toughest year to be seniors, we excelled in and out of the classroom, and most importantly, we made lasting memories that we can look back upon fondly for a lifetime. We've grown into stronger, more mature people, backed by the 5+2 values that our school has stressed to us since day one. It took me getting older to realize that these values are not only repeated, but embodied by the amazing people that surround us on a daily basis. Mr. Street shows his respect to every member of the Academy community with the time he takes to have genuine conversations with everyone. Coach Miller demands responsibility from our football team and expects us to take accountability for ourselves and our actions. Miss Benning shows the importance of compassion through service and the massive impact that selflessness can have on others. Mr. Dow and Mrs. Izokaitis are incredibly honest when they address us during assembly, as they care about giving us direct information on whatever is going on in the high school. Dr. Lasambe, who quite possibly has the biggest heart of anyone, commits to maintaining fairness at Academy and will drop the hammer if he sees a discrepancy. Our Academy traditions exemplify moral courage and integrity, such as the Honor Code and DHC. Of course, it's all held together by our incredible leader, Mrs. Soderberg. She puts in so much work to uphold all the Academy values and to give students the most enriching and meaningful experience possible. We couldn't ask for a better person to lead our school, so thank you, Mrs. Soderberg, so much from all of us. Whether we realized it or not, every day at this school was a step on the path towards becoming better. Better students, better athletes, but most importantly, better people. And it doesn't feel like we're at the end of that path. It still feels surreal that we've tossed a frisbee on the quad for the last time, that we've had our last school dance, that our academy journeys are over. But every cloud has a silver lining. I'm so proud of every senior sitting here today and the people we've grown to become. The amount of talent collected in this one space is insane, and the potential is limitless. There's so much we can and will do, but our years at this school have only paved the way for this. We're still taking the opening steps on our paths. Freshman year, I was wrong. High school wasn't the time for us to fully form into the people we want to be, not even close. We have so much more room to grow and so much more to discover about ourselves. So when we see each other in the future, we may be surprised at the differences we see from today. And that is so incredibly exciting. I can't wait to see what each of you does in the future and how you continue to grow as you further move along your path. And I can't wait to find out how this class will change the world, because it will. I love you guys, and thank you so much.
Debbie Keeran came to Columbus Academy in 1979, back when the school was all male and wasn't even contemplating coeducation, an eventuality that came 13 years later. As the longest-serving female faculty member in the history of the school, her influence on the entire school is rich and broad, and starts, as many careers do in school, as an excellent kindergarten teacher. In her 42 years here, she has pioneered our all-day kindergarten, began our pre-kindergarten program with Lisa Spolter, and proposed our Explorers program just a few years ago. Debbie's impact on the school through the admissions office is also all-encompassing. It is really so hard to capture. Since the year 2000, 64% of all students admitted to Columbus Academy have come through her office. Their parents have experienced her irrepressible enthusiasm for the school on her tours and have come not only to love Debbie, but see her as their best advisor and sounding board long after they were new families to our community. Her love of the school and its people radiates her everyday work, and we will miss her sure-footed determination and resolve to get the best families enrolled here when she retires this summer. But we are lucky to have her now. Let's welcome Debbie Keeran as our commencement speaker.
Thank you, Melissa, for that wonderful introduction. No wonder I'm retiring. All that sounds kind of exhausting. Welcome to the main attraction, the class of 2021, the esteemed class of 2021. And welcome to my fellow esteemed colleagues and our esteemed board of trustees. Welcome also to all of you who are not feeling so esteemed today. Anyone having a bad hair day? Anyone who's not a morning person? Or anyone being held here against their will? You know who you are. I imagine some of you are thinking, who is this person and how long is she going to talk? In the words of Ellen DeGeneres in her speech to Tulane graduates, you can't graduate until I'm finished talking, so listen up. Actually, I thought I'd be standing here 8 years ago. The then headmaster, John McKenzie, came into my office and he said, I need to talk to you about graduation. I said, sure. He said, I don't know if you can help. I'm not sure you're going to feel comfortable. Well, at that point, my feathers were puffed. He's going to ask me to be the graduation speaker. He kept floundering a bit, and I thought, I'm going to take this man out of his misery. I'm going to say yes. And before I blurted it out, he said, "Do you think your daughter, Meredith, would be the graduation speaker?" Oh, she's a renowned triathlete. 25th anniversary of girls. I'm retiring. She'd be perfect. In the words of Jodie Sweetin, how rude. But it was a proud mama moment. But my turn, Meredith. I grew up in Massillon, Ohio, an industrial steel town. Our claim to fame is Coach Paul Brown. It's a Friday night's light town, and I was more interested in what cheerleading uniform I was wearing than what I was getting in chemistry. But actually, I knew I wanted to do more. I spent a lot of time trying to teach myself the right tense of the verb. It took a long time for me to realize we was going to the movies was going to hurt other people's ears. So I taught myself how to study in high school and college using acronyms so I could remember main points. My acronym for you today is KFC. No, I'm not going to talk about chicken. But hopefully those 3 letters, while familiar for chicken, will help you remember what I have to say. K will be for kindness and knowledge. F is for find your groove and failure. And C is for change and choices. I graduated from high school in 1969. I'll pause here for those of you trying to calculate my age. It was the year of Sesame Street, The Gap, the internet, Wendy's, and Tic Tacs. All still around, new and improved, but still around. And believe it or not, still around are the same college stuff I experienced in the 70s. There are roommate issues, party issues, study issues, Greek life issues, and good choice issues. Let's start with K, kindness and knowledge. You're most likely going to have a roommate in college. You may or may not immediately bond with them, but Wittenberg University, Hanley Hall, 3rd floor, a very popular dorm. Meeting all the girls on the floor, yes, the dorms were all girls. We giggled and laughed as we got to know each other. We were looking for potential friends. And then there was Shirley. Shirley didn't seem to fit. She sat at her desk most of the day. She went to bed at 8 o'clock, and I think her mom came every Sunday to talk to her. Yes, Shirley was different. Each evening when we all gathered, giggling and laughing, going to the dining hall, I watched her sitting there by herself. And I thought about asking her to come with us, but I was too caught up in looking for that potential friend. After fall break, all of Shirley's things were cleared out of her room. And the dean of women came in and she said, "Shirley has left the university. But don't worry, girls, you didn't do anything." And I thought to myself, oh, she's so right. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything to make Shirley feel a part of 3rd floor Hanley Hall. Maybe she was a genius. Maybe she was funny. Maybe she was an artist. But she wasn't looked upon as potential friend material. Please be kind to the Shirleys of the world. I'll never know what could have been. I hope the Lamadou family doesn't mind me stealing this from them, but they tell their children to be the nicest person in the room. So now I say it to my grandson, Chase, and when he rolls his eyes, I know he hears me. I hope you hear me too. On to knowledge. While I want you to be the kindest person in the room, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. In middle school, I was put in a category in 7th grade. They categorized us by ability. 7-1, 7-2, 7-3, 7-4. Well, the 7-1s and 7-2s, oh, they're going to college. Everybody paid attention to them. I was a 7-3, never to breathe the same air as a 7-1 or 7-2. When I went back to my 50th class reunion, pause again for those of you who are calculating my age, those 7-3s and below had done quite well for themselves. Don't put people in categories. It'll trip you up every single time. Everyone has their strengths. Share your knowledge. I guarantee you are going into college having an edge since you graduated from Columbus Academy. However, don't be a know-it-all. When I was in driver's ed, he could see the disdain on everyone's face for being there. And so he said, how many people know it's illegal to drive without shoes on? Well, there goes the 7-1s and 7-2s. They got their hands up. They think they know it. And then the instructor said, guess what? Leave your hands up and know it's not illegal to drive without shoes on. Whew! I was never so glad to be a 7-3. I didn't touch that question. My mom always said it doesn't cost anything to ask. Be the first to admit when you don't know something and gracious enough to share your knowledge if you do, and smart enough to ask questions. I have made it my life's purpose to surround myself with people who are willing to share their knowledge. Moving on to the F. Find your groove and failure. These two go together. I'm convinced I only got into Wittenberg University because I'm Lutheran. Wittenberg is a Lutheran school. Being an admissions person, I would have loved to been in the room when they were deciding whether to accept me. Oh, she's a 7-3, not sure here. I think they finally decided, in the words of Carrie Underwood, let's just let Jesus take the wheel on this one and see what happens. I started out wanting to be an eye doctor. I thought, that's impressive. No one in my family had graduated from college. So not only was I going to graduate, I was going to get one of those cum laude, magna cum laude, summa cum laude, gigundo cum laude. I didn't even know what they were, but I was determined to get me one of those. My dad called every Friday night and he said, why aren't you out having fun? I said, Dad, this place is so hard for me. I don't even know how to study. And my dad said, let me tell you something. I'm average. Your mother's average. Odds are you're going to get average. Wow, there's encouragement at its finest. Then he said, no, you know I'm kidding. You're capable, but I don't think you're happy. So interestingly enough, finding my groove and failure went hand in hand. I failed at the eye doctor thing. I failed being true to myself, and I failed at being happy. I entered education classes the next day. I put gigundo cum laude on hold and finally enjoyed the journey and turned that failure into a good thing. Since I love acronyms, here's a good one for fail. First attempt in learning. Here's my advice. Follow your groove and the ride will be smooth, or at least smoother. If something or someone tells you no, here's a good acronym. Next opportunity. So ease on down the road. Respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy. Lastly, choices and change. You will all be faced with choices in college, and hard ones. Do I go to that party, or do I study for that test? Do I drink more than I should? Do I even need to drink to fit in? Should I join that sorority or fraternity? I want to tell you about my friend Norm. Big man on campus, Norm. Every girl wanted to date Norm. When he walked on campus, I think the waters parted. The party didn't start without Norm, or did it end without him dancing on the table? One night, Norm made a bad decision. He was drinking, and he got on his motorcycle. It was devastating, as our vibrant life of the party was gone. Sorry to tell a sad story, but make good choices at college and have fun. Moderation and balance, please. Lastly, personal change. Embrace it. Good grief, with COVID, we're the kings and queens of change. Who would have thought toilet paper hoarding in the grocery would become a sprint sport? Who would have thought hugs and handshakes were lethal weapons? And how and who would have thought Disney would lose its magic? Who would have thought you could go into a bank wearing a mask and ask for money? People are social beings, and it was taken away. We were asked to do jobs we weren't trained for. And worst of all, I was about a month away from everyone knowing my true hair color. Seriously, we have survived all because of personal change. We have adapted and we have improvised. Carry the power of change to college with you. It's healthy. Seniors, here's where I ask you to help me. Say, change it. If you don't like your current major or class, what are you going to do? If you aren't following your passion, what are you going to do? And if your attitude stinks about your parents wanting to take 100 pictures of you today, what are you going to do with that attitude? Parents, you're welcome. So I imparted my thought to you through the anachronism KFC. Go out and don't be chicken. Buck, buck. Excuse the pun. Share your knowledge. Follow your path. Don't be afraid to fail. Embrace change. Make good choices. And most importantly, in the words of Harry Styles, treat people with kindness. Feeling good in my skin, I just keep dancing. As the song says, seniors, I want you to dance out of here. I have asked that that song be the last one you hear as you leave this stadium. Javi and Manny, I saw you dance at the last bell with a freedom like no other. Do it one more time. Put the pomp and circumstance aside and dance out of here strong with that diploma. You've earned it, a great feeling. I'll leave you with this thought, right versus privilege. My daughter always says, Kelsey, that spandex is a privilege, not a right. My feeling is everybody has a right to be educated, but attending a school like Academy is a privilege. Do it and yourself proud. If CA wasn't already an acronym for Columbus Academy, I would choose completely awesome. You are awesome. This place is awesome. Go out and do awesome things. Congratulations, esteemed class of 2021. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Here we go. Charlotte Bell Adams. Tara Minoli Alahakun. Vera Alexandra Anderson. Olivia J. Archibald. Vaughn Wayne Armour. Vassar Jackson Barney. Alyssa Michelle Batchelor. Isha Batra. Allison Grace Bergman. Panya Gerbach Binder. Zoe Jean Black. Caroline Nicole Bloomfield. Amelia Paige Brueggemann. Luke Avery Budzik. Laura Bryn Campbell. Finn Reese Akira Cassidy. Nishal Chenaru. Hannah Gabriella Clay. Brian Andrew Commissar. Reagan Marie Cornelius. Maxwell Dennison Crane. Patrick Thomas Daly. Matthew Isaac Durzon. William Walter Duncan. Grant Parker Edwards. Emmanuel E.K. Aribo. Daniel James Farber. Lakes Gilman Flory. Andrew Russell Golden. Keeran Nicholas Grosby. Chloe Torshintz Guin. Ashi Gunwardena. Campbell Frederick Gwynn. Ethan Mitchell Halpern. Alexander Sonari Hart. Rowan Annie-Kaith Hennessy. Marin Claire Henry. Brady Kenneth Hess. William Herbert Haywood V. Jonah Samuel Woo Hyun Houston. Lucas Wong. Jacob Clay Huddleston. Samuel Ryan Hughie. Sajal Saisha Jindal. Jared Eiferman Cass. Sarah Louise Klingerman. Suzanne Brennan Lamadou. Nia Murade Law. Caroline J. Leet. Cole Blake Lease. Brody Joseph Leo. Jack Lewin Madison. Graham Fleet Mallory. Riley Elizabeth Matthews. Kayla Nicole McClendon. Sophia Lindley Chang Miller. Robert Joseph Mills. Lauren Elizabeth Mata. Darrell Jamal Moultrie. David Narayanan. Luke Thomas Nestor. Addison America Nolan. Ebube Chukwu Ugochukwu Nwoke. Evelyn Hope Alexio. Anna Regina Ortiz. Jordan Marie Pace. Olivia L. Pierre Louis. Sydney Jean Platt. Jacob David Pagurski. Janaya Arena Balan April Potts. Sulin Q. Anjali Ranji. Sydney Devon Ratliff. Nathaniel Luis August Roush. Ethan J. Rayburn. Ashley Lauren Reynolds. Madeline Paige Rosenberg. Claire Emma Ryan. Javier Luis Seiss. Sona Praveen Santry. Lena Kate Chiano. Cooper Elliott Schnitzer. Sega Saleshi. Sarah Michelle Silver. Skylar Harrington Simpson. Sophia Kathleen Summer. Ethan Ray Stahl. Christopher James Sugar. Beatrice Carey Sull. Gabriel Charles Taub. Olivia Madison Tobias. Carolyn Jennifer Tsung. Joshua Tu. Ari Sanford Tuckerman. Ellie Nicole Vasilkoff. Calvin Henry Wade. Miles McGreevy Walter. Maggie Elise Walther. Vincent White Jr. Julia Tice Whitney. Alexander Grant Wood. Felicia Rayhan Zhao. Henry Tu. And Ethel Michael Zakowski. Woo-hoo! I present the class of 2021.